Hello, my name is Ronak Bott and I am in 5th grade. Today, I will be presenting my tech fair project. It is a digital photo called Message in a Bottle. I took these photos so I did not plagiarize. I took these photos and placed them together to represent something that means that you should not be on your phone or on a device for that matter for any longer than you need to be. I know that with the world gone virtual, we have all been on our phones and laptops and desktops and things like that, but we need to get fresh air, you and me alike. Please enjoy the presentation. I was really inspired because every time I get on a computer, it makes me feel bad and it makes my head hurt. This is why I created my tech fair project called Message in the Bottle. It represents that you should not be glued to your computer and you should get fresh air. Here we go. Now I will show you how I made my project. This is my final design. This is the Zoom logo. I'm not trying to make Zoom look bad, but I'm just saying that we're all on Zoom now because for me, school's online, and for other people, they have work meetings on Zoom now. Okay, let me explain to you how I made this. Okay, I used a Google app called Chromatic. It uses a green screen feature to help you. We bought green screen paper and laid it out, put a bottle on it, put this bottle on it, and took the picture. We used the bottle to represent this background. This is a picture of the sky that I took on a day. This is the phone. I took my mom's phone and used it separately. So I did the same thing that I did with the bottle. I put it on a green screen and I took a picture. That's why there's a little bit of blue. But I think it looks in the bottle for the most part because of this glare and this glare. Okay, so what are the effects I used? So these clouds weren't here before, as you can probably tell, but I used this tool to draw them. This tool is the lasso tool, and it will let you draw anything you want with your freestyle hand. I blurred out this part a little bit, as you might be able to see, and yes. So you might notice how it's like a little bit darker up here and a little lighter down here. I did that because I used a gradient, this thing. A gradient is basically, it lets you show a gradual change between two colors. This option lets you choose the gradient. Right now, it's set for gray and black. This is the blur tool. I used it to blur these things. This is the eyedropper tool. It's arguably one of the most helpful tools in this because let's say I can't find this color. I'm probably not going to find it in all of these. So what do? I can take the eyedropper tool and click this and it will give you this color, therefore moving it to here. Then you can use it to color something or something like that. Okay, this bottle was a bottle that we happened to have for decoration in our upstairs. So yes. So I downloaded, so you might be wondering how did I get Adobe Photoshop? So I bought a 1-month trial and used it for this. Right now, the 1-month trial is not up yet, so I can still use it. Okay. I went out to the App Store for this, Zoom, because otherwise I couldn't get it. And I tried to join a Zoom meeting, but that didn't really work. I have some other designs or some other trials and errors, but I can show you those now. This is my final draft. After many trials and errors, I finally got it to this state. But what were my other drafts? Let's show them now. This was my other draft. It wasn't really that good, but I used it by getting a bottle and then literally putting a phone in there. require much Photoshop, and so I changed it up. But I would clear these parts by using the create rectangle box, this, and changing it to a color like this using the eyedropper tool. But this is my final version. Hello. Since I cannot meet with you in person today, I will tell you some hypothetical questions that you might have. Our first one. Did I work alone or with someone else? I worked alone on this project with the help of my family for the recording part. This took me how long did this take me to complete? I spent about 4 to 5 solid hours on this project in total. Who inspired me to keep working? My teacher inspired me to keep going, and she made a lot of good suggestions. What was the easiest part about this for you? The easiest part of this project was trying to figure out how to use the green screen, and even that wasn't that easy. What was the hardest part of this software? The hardest thing was probably having to learn all this software. At first, I was honestly really confused and I really didn't know what to do. So I created a few just tests and I took the tutorials and I eventually learned how to make this. What was the funnest part of this project? I think that what's really fun is that I get to represent my school in Tech Fair, and I'm just really happy that I get the chance to be here. Thank you for coming today, or not coming, but watching, same thing. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and I really hope that your day is going well. Thank you to my teacher for inspiring me to do this project. Thank you, and I'll see you next Tech Fair. Bye! Hi again. This is my Tech Fair project, but it wasn't always this way. Here, I'll show you what changes I made and decisions I made to make it look from this to this. Okay, first off, the most obvious difference is that this is a green background and this is a blue background. The reason for this is that I used the green screen effect on another app to put it on here. That's also why this is a little green, but that's not that important. These clouds are not here, and here is why. So basically, I used the draw tool, this tool, to do this. I drew the clouds and I drew 2 of them. For this, you can obviously tell that this blue is here around the edges of this, and this is gone. It also looks a little shorter from here because I trimmed the picture to make it look like it was just a phone and not taken with a green screen effect, and look like it was more inside the bottle. For this one, also, this bottle is a little big for this page, and this is like a little smaller. The reason for that is that I minimized the picture of the bottle and put it on a bigger background, therefore giving me more space to create the clouds. So yes. Okay, now I'll show you these tools and what their objective is. This is the move tool. As we can see here, we can move layers or objects with this tool. This is the tool that lets you select more than one object, but we don't need to use that right now. It's called the lasso tool, and you can see why it is called lasso tool. Oh yeah, this is the history bar. You can change your this is basically the undo button or redo button on Adobe Photoshop. This tool, it selects something within a indefined region. So basically, if I were to select this whole thing, it would detect the phone. This, it can trim or expand. This is how I trim this, by doing like that. And then you click enter or select, but we are not going to do that right now, so yes. You can also trim the borders of the photo and cut out objects in the photo. This it creates a like basically an image frame for things in this frame, and you can change things out. Like if I wanted to, I could click on the zoom thing, on the zoom logo, and change it into something else. This is the eyedropper tool, arguably one of the most effective tools in this thing, in this Photoshop app. As seen here, you can eyedrop samples from one and turn it into the other. So I could take this blue and put it here. This is the eraser tool. You can just erase anything that you drew. Similarly, this is the paintbrush tool, and you can paint. This is also how I drew the clouds. This is the clone tool. So if I wanted to, I can clone this phone as many times as I wanted to. This, it returns a part of the picture to an earlier state. So if I highlighted this or touched this, it would turn into a blue sky again. This is also the eraser tool. But this is, yeah. This is the gradient tool. This is also one of the most effective tools in here because you can use it to change colors. Like that's how I got this part to be white and this part to be a darker blue. This is the blur. It is really effective and shows that you can blur object things in your layers, and it really helps. This is, it lightens areas in an image. So basically, it's the opposite of blur. Like you can lighten that, like that, and it's lighter than before. This is the pen. It's like the draw tool, except it's kind of more of an outline for the draw. This is the text. I think we all know what that means. It adds a text box where you can write in. This is the mouse tool, and it just is like the basic thing that you need, and as shown in the path here. This is a rectangle tool. It just draws rectangles for you. And this lets you like go over different parts of an image as shown here. You can like, if the image is zoomed in or not. And this is the zoom tool. And then you can't have one without the other on these. These are all the tools on Adobe Photoshop. Thank you for watching my Tech Fair video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!